Morning everybody, we are back by popular demand. A few of you have come up to me recently, quite more than a few of you actually, quite a lot, and said when you do your next course report, because I haven't done one for a while, which I haven't, apologies for that, but we're back, so we're going to start to redo the course reports and post on social media, so everyone knows what's going on out in the course. We'll stick to the original format. I'll discuss a little bit about the weather, go through little things out in the course like greens and that, little things, big things, and then we'll discuss what's going on this time of year. It's all about winter works really, and how we're moving forward into the winter coming up. So hope you enjoy the report. Apologies again, I haven't done one for a while, and yeah, see how we get on. So the first thing we're going to discuss is the weather. As always, my bugbear. I'm never happy when it comes to the weather, and that is the case again. 2024 has been a bit crap, really. We didn't really get summer, if I'm honest. It was quite wet through June, July. August become a little bit better, a little bit warmer, a little bit drier, as was the start of September. And then halfway through September, the heavens opened. Pretty crap, a lot of rain, and October has continued on the same vein really. Massive downside to that is we're already wet really for this time of year, so we need a dry November. Otherwise, come January, February, we could be in a little bit of trouble, because as soon as the sun loses its power, it's lovely this morning, there's a bit of heat in the sun. But as soon as it loses its power, January, February time, water ain't going nowhere. So we need the water table to drop a little bit. I think we've already had something like 60 mil of rain already this month. October 22nd today. We had quite a lot last month. So dry November required. So the upside, where it's still quite warm at the minute and it has been wet, grass is growing. So grass coverage across the entire golf course is actually pretty good. It's really nice and green, and there's not really not many bad areas out there at the minute. But whenever there's a positive, there is a negative. So we do need a dry November really. Temperatures to drop a little bit, slow the grass growth down. We are in our sort of late season boom at the minute, so it's difficult to keep on top. But yeah. On reflection, so far 2024, not a good year. So we're going to do a green section of the report now. I'm standing on the 13th green, as you can see, and grass colour, brilliant. Grass coverage is brilliant. That is part because of the weather, and obviously the practices that we carry out on a regular basis. The greens are pretty good. They are a little bit on the long side at the minute, deliberately done. Obviously we don't want them too short this time of year, puts them under a little bit too much stress. Still a lot of golf being played at the golf club, especially at the weekends, so height of cut is at 4.5 mil at the minute. They haven't been cut this morning, they've just been dewy brushed and swished off, but on the whole greens are pretty good. They're very, very receptive, again due to the amount of rain. Last week we verti drained the back 9. Week before that the front 9, so that they're pretty good for the time of year. A little bit of disease kicking around we need to keep an eye on. You can see a little bit there, because of the weather. It's been very windy this year. We have limited spray windows. We've got one tomorrow that we're going to take advantage of to get a little bit of feed out there, but on the whole greens pretty good, and I'm pretty pleased. So we've started to cut the tee boxes here a little bit differently than what we have done in the past, mainly because a lot of our tees are raised, and the mower that we use to go around the tee banks is causing a bit of damage, where some of the banks are too steep, digs in, cuts out. So in an ideal world, I'd like square tees everywhere, but sometimes that's not possible on some of the holes, like 18 and things like that. You just can't do it. But I'm standing on the ladies, or should I say the red tee, I apologise, the red tee on 10. And as you can see, we've squared this off, cut with a hand mower, and we're doing one pass on the tee top now, and we're leaving the tee banks. So this obviously eradicates the fact we've even got to use a machine on the tee banks, but it also creates a lot more of a linksy look. Obviously next year these will go like the long grasses, so they should go a bit wispy and a bit brown, and they should in theory look really, really nice. So that's why some of the tee boxes, the styles have changed. Like the first is another one that was one tee, the big tee was one tee. We've now made it two. There's not a lot of point in spending time and money on keeping a slope sort of cut tee height when you'd never have tee markers on there. So we've made that a big tee at the bottom, and obviously a smaller tee where the whites are. But yeah, this is sort of new for this year. We won't really see it defined until probably next season, but I like it. It's a lot easier on the tee banks and obviously on maintenance as well. So hopefully, like I say, moving forward, our tees will look a lot linksier and a lot neater. One of the big projects we done this winter was the levelling off of part of the 6th fairway. The original plan was to go the whole way back to the tee, but unfortunately that's not been the case this year due to machinery and things like that. So we in the end elected to do the worst area of the 6th, which is just past the bunkers on the fairway, and then up to where we did some work probably about 5 or 6 years ago now. So if your ball lands in this area, you should have a better lie than what we had before. Obviously we don't want it flat. We never want it flat. We don't really want potholes, so hopefully we've achieved that. So this was rotivated, luted, levelled. Say levelled, like I say, we don't want it flat. And then it's been seeded. I'm currently standing on this hole at the minute. As you can see, all the seeds popping up. This is 15 days old. So really pleased with how it's coming through. We won't do anything to this area yet, probably for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then we'll start to sort of tidy it up, fertilise it, get it a bit flatter. So this area will remain GUR, but so far 15 days, very pleased with 6 and how it's all taken up. And yeah, hopefully this will be a lot better playability wise in 2025. So that was a general overview of what we got going on, what we got coming up. At the minute, I could say it's bums on seats time. That won't last too much longer, I wouldn't have thought. Once some couple of frosts and that kick in, then we'll be able to get back to the winter works a little bit more. But say we've got the 6th fairway, the 18th approach. Really pleased how they've come on. We've still got a few other little projects to do. The first, the bunkering around the first, sort out all the ruts in between 1 and 16. That'd be quite a nice addition for next year, and better playability around that hole. Those 2 bunkers that were there, the big one is in the dip, only really ever caught out shorter hitters, if you like, and very difficult to maintain. Bottom of that slope, always full of water, and then the one on the left, the little one, poorly shaped. It's actually really quite a bad bunker, that one, and very seldom visited by anybody. So they're both going, and there'll be 1 on the left and should be 2 on the right, as well as better drainage all around the front there, and sort of say that walkway in between 16 and the first green, levelled that off a lot better. New 6 tees. We've got the 2 ears on the side of 6 that aren't irrigated, very small raised tees, not really, a bit pointless. So we're going to build a tee behind the bigger tee there, and redo the sort of, so you have 2 larger tees on 6. The red tees remaining the same, and then 11 is the other project. The back tee on 11 is really bad for tree roots. And we did do this 5 years ago. It's the big tree. It's our tree, but it's a big tree by the bench. That's throwing out lots of roots. Obviously the irrigation comes on, it goes to find water, it's only natural, but we don't want to lose that tree, but we are going to have to do something with the tee box, because someone's going to hurt themselves there, I think, because the amount of roots coming through that tee is actually quite dangerous. Just a little side note on 11, in case you're wondering, the Winter League started, which is an eclectic, hence why, even though we haven't started the hole yet, we are placing it on mat on a Sunday. This is mainly so it remains fair, because when we do start it, it'll be on the mat all the time. So if you're wondering why it's on mat on Sundays and all the other days of the week it's back on the grass tee, that's why. So once we start, it'll be on mat all the time, but we need to keep it fair and consistent for the eclectic of the Winter League. Other little projects as well. We've got a bit of tree thinning behind the 12th. We want to try and get done, and just a few other little areas on the course that we just want to make a bit better. A few bunker tops on 12 and 10. So yeah, we're going to be pretty busy this winter, but at the minute, like I say, it's pretty much bums on seats until that slows down a little bit. We will be prioritising that over the winter works. So, but we have started, and I'm really pleased with what we've done so far with 6 and 18, and how they're progressing and how they're growing back in a few months. But October 22nd, course is in pretty good nick. Greens are good, tee boxes are good, fairways are good. Everything about it really is really positive, really good. The boys are working really hard. The long grasses will be going soon, probably November time. We're going to start to take them down. The trial area we done on the 2nd and the 3rd with the chemical to sort of thin the grasses out. It's worked quite well, so we'll probably do a little bit more next year on that, try and thin the long grasses out. Really thick at the start of this year, because of the weather. It's a wet spring, wet start to the summer, so the long grasses were thick and juicy. They are nice now, but you know, they were thicker than we wanted them, shall we say, but that area has actually worked out quite well. But yeah, on reflection, pleased with the golf course for the time of year, pleased with what we're getting, you know, what we're achieving, and how we're getting on. So that's the end of this month's course report. Like I say, we are going to start doing these a bit more regular again, and if you've got any questions about anything I spoke about or not, either comment on this video on YouTube, put something in on Facebook where we share it, see me out on the course in person, you know, I'll always come and speak to you, or contact the office of our email and I'll get it that way. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.